Hi there, this is Rob at Reason101.net, and I'm here to show you a little bit about how to create your own little glitch device. This is yet another method on creating a glitch box, and in this case we are going to be using a Dr.OctoRex, and it's just one simple Rex file that you can process through a number of different effects devices. So, if you have Reason 5, let's get started. Open up a Combinator. Inside the Combinator, let's create a Dr.OctoRex. Let's open up the Rex file. Let's search for a loop. Let's go into the Rex drum loops. Let's go into, actually, let's not do that. Let's go into the Rex percussion loops. Let's go into Keith LeBlanc. I really like Keith LeBlanc. If for those of you who don't know who he is, just look up Tackhead Tape System. Amazing stuff with Tackhead back in the 80s. Anyhow, let's open up the bongo boom. Okay, let's add that one in. Very simple Rex slice there, or Rex file. What I'm going to do, I'm going to create, let's first create a Kong device, but hold down your Shift key when you're creating it. Drum Designer, let's open it up. Let's add in a tape echo into the Master FX. I really like the tape echo. It's one of my favorite devices. Let's increase the resonance, increase the wobble, increase the feedback a little bit. Now let's flip it around, and what we're going to do is we're going to take the slice outputs, we're going to send them to the audio inputs, and then we are going to, in here, create a mixer, which I forgot to do. So we'll create the mixer, send the outputs from the Rex to the first channel. We'll send the outputs of Kong to that first channel. Okay, so that's one Kong device down. Let's also create another Kong device. Another Drum Designer, holding the Shift key down. Let's also do the same thing for output 3 and 4. And then let's send the outputs into channel 3. And this time we're going to flip it around, and we're going to add in, let's do a ring modulator. Let's increase the amount and decay. Okay, that's good enough. So that one's done. Now, same thing. We're going to hold down Shift. We're going to let's create two delay lines. Let's create another one. Okay, let's create 4. Why not? Okay, now let's have your output 3 and 4 going into the left on the first one and the left on the other one. Then let's have the output going down to this. Don't need that output. Don't need that one. Then let's have this one going to 4. Let's remove that output, and let's have this output going to 5. Let's remove the right output. Let's flip it around, and on these outputs, let's send this all the way left and this one all the way right. On these two, let's bring this down to one step for each. Let's bring the dry wet knob down. And on this, let's just bring the dry wet knob down a little bit and a little bit more over here. Send the feedback up a little on these two so that you have some different delays going on. So that's set up. Now finally, let's hold down Shift again, and let's create a scream. We'll go for distortion. I'm just going to load up a scream patch. Let's take Digit Destructor. Let's see how that sounds. Let's bring up the damage a little bit. Let's also send this through. Let's send it through a phaser, and then off to a unison device. And let's have the phaser reduce the frequency a little bit, reduce the split, increase the width. And the unison will keep as is. We'll flip that around. So make sure this is all going correctly. Inputs are not going to be there. Outputs are going to be sent back to the mixer. And then the last of the outputs are going to go into the scream. So then going into the phaser, then going into the unison, and then back out. Okay, perfect. So now that we have all the different outputs set up, what we can do is hit this slice edit mode and select out. And just over here, we can select just a couple of the different. You got 4 different outputs here. So what you're going to do is just randomly select this. What I would really like to have is if you right click and there's some sort of a randomize feature here, but alas, there's no randomize, there's no automation, so you can't really do it all in one shot. So this is basically your outputs are going to be going to, the different slices are going to be going to the different outputs. The lower level here, when there's no outputs here, it's going to the main outputs, which is going into the first channel. When it's on level 1, which is right here, it's going to be going to the first Kong, which is the tape echo, and then out to Kong 2, channel 2 here. When it hits the third level, well, this would be first, this would be second. So this is the second level right here. So this is nothing, first, second, third, and fourth. So when it hits the second, it's going to go into the second Kong and then back out to 3. When it hits the fourth, it's going into that, when it hits the third, it's going into the delays and then going out to channels 4 and 5. And then when it hits the top one here, which is the output 4, it's going to be going into the unison. And when I say outputs 4, I'm saying that this pair, this is 3, this is basically nothing. Okay, so when this output is down to 0 over here, it's going to the main outputs and back out. When it's on level 1 here, it's using 3 and 4 outputs, so it's going into the Kong and then back out. When it's on the second output, second level here, it's going to be going into outputs 3 and 4. Or sorry, this is outputs, outputs 1 and 2, and then 3 and 4. So it's going to 3 and 4, and then the third level of the output is going into 5 and 6, and then the fourth level of the output is 7 and 8. So that creates a bit of a chaotic situation. So when you play it, which you can't hear it because I don't have the outputs going properly. That's right. So you can now hear all the effects working on the outputs. So now, just to add a little bit more fun, what I'm going to do is I'm going to push the octave up. Push the envelope up a little. And then play around with the pitch a bit. Okay, play around with the pan. And then we'll take a couple of slices and reverse a few. You can also work on the decay or the filter frequency. And of course you can choose different alternates to create groups. So that way you create some pretty wild changes here. Another thing you can do is you can actually send the LFO to affect the pitch, in which case you can increase this. And then you can also use your mod wheel to bring down the filter decay and the filter resonance, so so that when you play the mod wheel, it changes the filter resonance and the filter decay. It's also increasing the filter frequency here. So I hope that shows you how you can create a pretty interesting little glitchy effect unit out of your Dr.OctoRex. And in another tutorial, maybe I'll continue this a little bit further and try to create more variations by using some of the different slots that are included in the Dr.OctoRex. But for now, this is a pretty good introduction to how you can play around with your OctoRex to create some really glitchy effects. And I haven't even begun to put down the notes to track or copy any of the slices to the track and then play around with the slices themselves in your sequencer. So hope you've enjoyed that. Again, it's Rob at reason101.net, and come check out some more tutorials as they come out. Thanks a lot for watching.